never refer to a female's cookies. We call it the peace essence, lost people call them cushion. We don't speak ill of the dead. We hope you won't be offended by the things that are said. Playing devil's advocate, and no one here to judge you. And such a true thought, you will learn how to love you. Everybody's listening, nobody's tripping. Just like you crazy, everybody's flipping. This life's so crazy. Run and tell your friends you on the right side. There's no need to pretend. It's an open forum, never done before. It's a future, listen, this is a no cousin, you can learn something, no bugging. No extra charge to switch for be buzzing. We don't really care if you're right or you're wrong. Just tune into Miss KiKi, whichever time it's on.
Hey, Miss KiKi, it's time to play. It's time to play. Devil's advocate. Hey, Miss KiKi, it's PDA. It's time to play. Devil's advocate.
As we go a little something like this. Hit it!
At some point, you will be offended by something said on this show. But playing devil's advocate is meant to be a forum for open, honest, and more importantly, judgment-free dialogue. The opinions expressed here may not necessarily be those of the host or of the show in general, but we're willing to have the uncomfortable conversations so that we can heal and find solutions for our listeners and quite possibly even ourselves. Enjoy the show.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Playing Devil's Advocate. I am your host, Miss KiKi, the consummate provocateur, and for the next 120 minutes, we are going to edutain you. What that means is for the next 2 hours, you are going to be educated and entertained. I don't know which the emphasis is going to be on tonight, but I guarantee you're going to have a good time. So now's the time for you to share the link, tell your friends about everything so that you don't miss a single solitary thing about the show. So since you're already watching us on YouTube, you already know we have an interactive chat room where you can participate and be a part of the conversation. You can also post to our Facebook wall at facebook.com/playing devil's advocate anytime during the show, after the show, before the show, and we will make sure that we address your comments. You can also send us a tweet at PDA_Miss KiKi, PDA_MSKIKI. Follow us, tweet us. We retweet, we tweet back, we do all of that stuff. So make sure you're following us. Tonight's show is going to be so much fun, and I can't wait to get into it, but I need to remind you, go to the iTunes store if you can and type in my name, KiKi Richardson, and you can download yourself a copy of my book, The Other Woman Code of Conduct, What Every Other Woman Should Know, and Men Too. It's not free, but it's going to be well worth your dollars. Trust me, don't judge the book by the cover. Or you can always go to KiKiRichardson.com, and there you'll be able to purchase the book. You'll be able to find out about our hosts, our guests, our experts, everything right there on KiKiRichardson.com. Even purchase some PDA merchandise. So make sure you go by there and check everything out. And before I can go any further, I need to bring in my cast of characters that are going to ride shotgun with me each and every week, as they always do. First up, because it's ladies first, you know her, you love her. She's a fallen angel, and she fell from grace for coining phrases like, I was going to say the lube is for amateur one, but I think a couple weeks ago she topped it with either you rub it out or I'll suck it out. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me and welcome into the show Miss Sporty Spunky Asia. Woo! Girl, you know how to come up with some humdick. Oh, you got your book.
Doing a little light reading while I'm preparing for us, you know. That's all.
Shameless plug, shameless plug.
Yes. Good evening, good evening.
Good evening, my dear. How art thou this
I'm
Friday?
just fabulous, thank you. Just fabulous.
All right, wonderful. Let me go ahead and bring on our testosterone for tonight.
Let's bring them in.
Well, you know, last week I said I was going to find him some intro music.
Yeah.
I'm testing out something tonight. I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it, but I'm definitely thinking about it. So,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, you were introduced to him during our Man Crush March series. He has now become a regular fixture here because he jumped out there during one of the conversations talking about, I want to come back some more. And so now he's back, and we, it's like a bad rash. We can't get rid of him, and he can't get rid of us. So you know him from being here, and he is an author, a motivational speaker, an entrepreneur, and just my good friend. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming Mr. Rob Carter IV.
Hey, where's my picture? Hey, I'm here.
You talking so much you ain't even here. Baby, not the, you know what?
Really?
I can't even see you play with you at the daggone football game. He done pulled out the old school football game.
That was supposed to be last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
All right.
You was talking so much you ain't even hear your intro music.
No, I heard it. I heard it. I heard it. And thank you. No, what was the music?
See?
I thought I did.
See?
Okay. What was the music?
See? Zip it, lock it, put it in your pocket. I'm not going to do it again.
Ah, shit. Yeah, we can work with that. We can work with that.
I get.
It give you a little something. It'll give you a little something. I'm testing it out. I might change it. So,
Yeah.
There it is. All right, y'all. Tonight's topic. I know it was some stuff we were supposed to do announcements about, but I don't remember what they are, so you can't hold me accountable for them. But I do want to say shout out to everybody who got April birthdays that we probably missed because, it's so much going on. So happy birthday to all the April folks out there. This week's topic, mind your business. Now, Rob, you missed our pre-show shenanigans when we were on air talking about tonight's show and what we were going to, talk about and everything. And so I know you guys have a lot of things that y'all want to talk about in terms of, if it's ever appropriate. We're going to come up with some scenarios on when it's appropriate to actually step in, get in somebody's business, or is it ever not appropriate? Should you just always, look the other way and be like, sip your tea like, ain't none of my business. So, I'm going to just start this one out real fucked up like.
Oh, my.
Because it came in to me. It wasn't even one of mine, so it's one of the listeners. They brought it in to me, and I always want to get theirs out before I get any of ours. And they said to me, it said, me and my ex hooked up the night before their wedding. And they told me that they were only marrying the other person because they couldn't be with me. Now, do I mind my business, or do I speak up at the ceremony when it's time in the ceremony? So they want to know if they should mind their business and just stay out of it, or should they interrupt the wedding when they say, do you see anybody see just cause why these two should not be wed? Should you say something? Should they say something?
No. You want me? Let me handle that.
Go ahead.
You need to mind your business because, that's part of the game. That was part of that night. If he wanted to marry her, that's what he'd be doing. He'd still be trying to marry her. He was hitting it, and he just told her, hey, this is how. It's that whole make you want to feel good since we doing this thing. But yeah, mind your business. Keep on pushing. All you're about to do is mess up a good day, a beautiful day for the two that's getting married.
But Rob, you assuming that was a guy that said
Well, either way, I still think it's the same. I think the girl, even if it's a girl, she's doing the same thing. She's saying, not
necessarily, because here's the thing. Just like you said, if the guy wanted to marry her, he would marry her. Yeah. But since the game favors the man when you're single, and it favors the women when you're married, right? So if she wanted to marry him and couldn't, it's because either there's something going on with him. Maybe he's married. Maybe he's with somebody else. Maybe we don't know. You know what I mean? We don't know what the situation is on why she couldn't be with him, so she chose to be with this dude because he was holding the cards. So, go ahead,
so it would be him. He still shouldn't say nothing because if he can't make it right, he should mind his own business. He just, give her what she asked for that night and step on.
Okay.
Look at here. If it was that serious, then the wedding would have been called off that night. Don't wait till it's time to walk down the aisle, male or female, and get your congratulations moment on. Like, I'm the one who feel like you shouldn't be, marrying her. Marry me instead in front of a room full of people because you want to add that drama. If
Right.
that was the case, then you should be telling him, well, I'm gonna break up with her now before I let you put your penis in my pee-pee parts. Okay, so no, I ain't trying to hear that shit. Man, your business. Stay out the wedding, because if it was about you, you'd be going down the aisle and not them. Next.
Hey, what about, let's see if I play devil's advocate here. What if not the reason that I want to be with you that I'm going to say something, but the fact that you just banged me the night before your wedding? Is that not just cause why is not that just cause why these two should not be wed?
Then I will be calling her that or him that night.
No.
Not the day of the
Who
wedding.
are you looking at, Sporty?
That's
I
even,
don't know.
that's even worse. That's even worse. So now
I
you
mean,
go.
calling him out, not
Wait,
the
40?
other person.
Yeah. So now you're gonna get caught up in the emotion of the night. You're gonna go through it with me like we down. You know what I'm saying? Then you're gonna rat me out tomorrow? That's crazy. That's No, you.
Just saying.
No. That you need to mind your business. If that was the way the person felt, man or woman, they shouldn't have been involved that night. They should have stepped off that night and said, you know what, this ain't right. You need to step to your people or do whatever. You got some issues going in, but I ain't gonna be no parts of it. She should have minded. He or she should have minded their business that night before they went to bed.
Okay. Well, I will, like I said, I was playing devil's advocate here, but I do agree that you need to mind your own ding-dang business. And, because this person isn't your problem. First of all, they've already shown you what kind of person they are. So did you really want to be with them anyway? So
Right.
If that person is going into a situation where they're marrying this person and you know something that they don't know, okay, let's keep it that way, because they weren't there the night y'all was screwing, so why they got to be brought into it now?
Right.
So I do actually think you should mind your business in that situation. Yeah. And look at it like this. That was a way to close the chapter. Just look at it like that. Y'all closed that chapter. Y'all sealed that deal. It's over. It's done. Move on.
Even though they probably should have sealed it a week or two earlier, but yeah. yeah.
I don't know if it's ever a good time for y'all to seal.
That's just messy.
To seal the deal like that if y'all engaged, but
Yeah.
go ahead. What did you say, Sporty?
I'm just saying that's just messy. That's just creating drama and you still gonna have the short end of the stick at the end of the day, because when you get through, they're gonna still be married.
But I don't think that they're breaking them up. Here's my thing. I don't think them saying something is because they want them. Because remember, the person said that the only reason they're marrying this person is because they can't have them. So I don't think that person wants them. To be quite honest with you. But the long and short of it is, mind your damn business.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's just dirty. That's foul. That's just.
Well, that brings up one of mine. You kind of worked right into that. So let's say, so KiKi, I'm married, right? And I've been married to this person for, let's say, 10 years, right? And I decide I'm going to have an affair on my spouse, on my husband. Do you have a conversation with my husband about me having an affair?
Whose friend am I? Yours or your husband?
You're my friend.
No.
You're my sister. You're my sister. And I'm cheating on my husband of 10 years.
No, I ain't saying shit. It ain't my business.
Right.
That's between you and your man. Like, here's the thing. I don't know if he might have been cheating on you at some point and you took him back and you just never told me because you thought I was going to be like, bitch, leave him. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That may be how y'all work out. I might just view it as cheating, but y'all might have an open relationship. I just need to mind my own damn business. It ain't for me to go run into him, especially if you my family. What am I betraying my family for some other dude? Because at the end of the day, niggas gonna come and go. My family's supposed to be there forever. So I'm not finna do that. I mean, shit, he knew who he was marrying. Shit.
Ooh.
He knew you said rub it out or I suck it out. He know you said, lube is for amateurs. He know how you rock out.
Oh Lord, that's hilarious.
I'm
PDA world, this is hypothetical situations. We are not talking about Sporty or anybody that she is involved with. Thank you very kindly.
Oh, you felt the need to put that disclaimer out there?
Yes, because I did say, rub it out or I'll suck it out, but I meant him, not other people.
I'm over here.
You know how I feel about this thing. Let me move
Rob,
this.
what you think? Would you say anything?
No, no, no. I mean, that ain't your business. It ain't my business. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know why I know. I don't even want to know. But if you feel the urge where you got to bounce it off of me, I'm probably gonna say something, inspiring and all, and say try to do whatever. But if you got to do what you got to do. But that ain't me. That ain't my business. I ain't talking to nobody about nothing. Cause it ain't my business.
Yeah.
Now,
That's only a recipe for disaster. Because at the end of the day, if you look at it like this, say for instance, I do tell your husband that you're cheating on him, and I damage our relationship in some way, right?
yeah, you will, because they gonna work it out.
That's my point right there. Y'all
Yeah,
gonna work
yeah.
it out, and now I'm the odd man out.
Yeah, they gonna work it out, and now you caused all the friction. It's your fault. It's
Yeah,
your
and then
fault
at
they
the
had the
family
drama in the
reunion,
first place.
everybody gonna be giving me the side eye. You know what I mean? It's just gonna be a problem. So the best thing to do is just for me to just zip it, lock it, and put it in my pocket, and take it to the grave with me.
So let me throw this one out.
Uh-oh.
All right. So now it ain't your peeps.
Okay.
Now it's the reverse. You see her man out with somebody else. You peep this. He don't know. They don't know. You see it. Do you tell or do you not?
Well, I've had this happen before. I've had it happen before where I knew that my friend, his wife was cheating on him. And so what I did in that situation was I didn't tell him exactly what I knew. And the only reason I said something, I have been quiet up to that point, but the only reason I said anything is because I literally saw a woman throw herself at him, like, you know what I mean? And he was like, nah, you know what I mean? And I
Mm-hmm.
always would see that, so it was like, come on, man. So I literally just said to him, look, you need to pay attention to what's going on in your house. I said it out of context of that, so it wasn't like I'm putting you on notice that that's what the situation is. Go, and I'm not saying go fuck her, but you need to pay attention to what's going on in your house. Well, what do you mean, KiKi? I'm just saying take a look, take a good long look at what's going on in your household.
See
So,
now,
so you dropping clues, you drop some breadcrumbs, but you didn't like get it totally in the business.
Right, and I didn't have any allegiance to that chick at all. You know what I
Right.
mean? I had none, zero, zilch. I didn't even like her. But the reality is my concern was for my friend and his feelings, and I knew how devoted he was to his wife in the face of all the shit that I was seeing. And so for me, I felt like it was incumbent upon me to say something and let him find it out for himself.
Okay, Sporty.
see, so now I had a similar situation happen, and I was with this guy for about 5 years, and one of my good girlfriends, Leisha, he had done something to tick me off. You know how I call you and Chan about everything, so
Mm-hmm.
we talk about everything. So this one particular time he pissed me off. And I was like, oh, he made me mad. He did such and such and such. I'm like, okay, fine. She's like, well, it don't matter because he fucking her so and so anyway. I said, huh? She said, look, everybody know but you, and I don't even care no more. So he's sleeping with her. Do with the information what you want. Be pissed at me if you want to, but that's what's going down. So she told me. So I was like, okay, and of course, I was upset. It was true, but she told me what was going down. She's like, look, she wasn't gonna see me out there like that. All in
Right.
love and all of that, but she was like, enough is enough.
I think part of that too depends on the relationship you have with the person that's being cheated on. You know what I mean? It's, you know, I think if you have that kind of relationship, like for instance, if Chan were to tell me some dude I was fucking with was on some bullshit, you know what I mean? I would expect her to tell me. Right, straight away. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be mad at her, but again, we know some women who would then, on the other hand, try to turn it around and be like, oh, you just trying to get at him, or you don't want me to be happy because you single. You know what I mean? Just some old fuck shit. You know, so it depends on the nature of the relationship as well, I think.
I think so too. I do.
Rob, what you think?
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think I got kids crying downstairs, but I think I can agree with that. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to take 1 second to mind some other business because I heard a bump and I hear some tears. So, but no, I agree with that. I think that the relationship definitely makes a big difference. It does. I mean,
it's none of their business. They're going to stay out of it. What's up, Rocky Miller? They say it's a tough spot to put yourself in. Go ahead. You go ahead, Rob. Check on the babies.
Lock me up real quick.
EFS coming to look for you. She'll turn his camera off so he comes back. It's a tough spot to put yourself in. Yeah, it is and it isn't. But the reality of the situation is that I would rather say something to Chan and let her know and let her handle it however she wants to handle it than for her to then find out some other way, hear it in the street, and be like, bitch, you knew and you ain't say shit.
See, and I think that it makes a difference as to, like you were saying, with having the nature of a certain relationship with someone, your friend, and telling them is, you know how you have people who, no matter what you tell them, they're not going to believe it anyway. And, you know, like the girl that he cheated with, she was an associate of mine, but not my friend. So when people began to tell her, you know, well, you knew he was sleeping with her, and whatever he told her made her believe that it wasn't happening, she believed everything he said. So nothing anybody else would tell her, you know, she didn't believe it. You know, so now she's, you know, like, look, at this one, I'm like, that's your problem now. You know, he proposes to you one day and is asking me, is it okay that I marry her? Dude, I could care less what you do with this person.
Right.
So the nature of your friendship or relationship with that person that's looking out for you is one way to do it, where you're looking out for somebody or you're being messy to start trouble.
Well, messy would be if me and Chan are over here talking and laughing about it, and then when you come in the room, we sniggling and giggling about it. When you talk about how happy you are, we like, really? Okay, you know what I mean? But we're not giving you the, you know,
Right.
That's being messy. I was messy about it one time with somebody. You know, I was. I'll tell you. Oh hell yeah! I'm gonna put it out there right now. I'm gonna tell this little quick story, then you can move on to another one.
Okay.
But I was in a room with a couple of friends and a friend of me, okay? And one of my friends, who is it? Chan's future ex-husband.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, I heard that this person told me that he messed with all three of y'all. And I was like, that's a mofo lie. Get him on the line. I don't mind you lying on your pee-pee parts, on your dick, but don't lie on mine, right? Now you...
Right.
No, whatever you want to do, that's on you. Get him on the line right now. Let's talk about it. Now, this one friend of me I knew had done some really inappropriate shit with this person, and she's married. Okay? So she's sitting there looking all holier, being all holier than thou. And so, you know, after the confrontation ensues, she's sitting there, you know, the guy is like, well, you know, it's interesting to me that the two people who are single and can fuck anybody they want to took the biggest issue, but the one person who's married ain't had nothing to say. So she's like, I don't need to even worry about that because I know the truth. And I couldn't take it no more. I'm sorry. I should have minded my business and kept my lip zipped, because you know how I am. Even though if y'all were friends once, you shouldn't spill the beans. But I couldn't stand she's sitting there like she all high and mighty and her shit don't stink. I'm like, do you really? Well, I ain't got to worry about that because this, that, and the other. Yeah, bitch, yeah, you did. You did it. You did it. I know you did it because I heard it. You know what I mean? Like, stop lying. Stop lying, trying to make it seem like everybody else on extra. So, yeah, I did. I put somebody on blast about cheating.
Good.
Yeah, I did. Because I wasn't in jeopardy of us not being friends no more. Because we weren't friends. So I didn't have anything to lose at that
I
point.
think we all have our petty moments.
I mean, I just was annoyed. Yeah, it was petty, but I was annoyed. I was like, how dare you sit here like you Alheim, I know the truth, and you know, I can't be mad at your gang because you know you do supposed to deny till you die. But the reality is, I had my petticoat on. Rocky in our chat room said it's also can vary. We know how we were talking about it varies on how the relationship is. He says in the chat room that it varies on how you obtain the information. I don't know if it would matter how I got the information.
Gotcha.
Well, you mean if it was gossip? If it was gossip, I ain't saying shit. But if I saw with my own 4 eyes,
that's different.
Yeah, it's different.
That's totally different.
Welcome back, Rob. Any bloodshed?
No, should have been, but it wasn't.
Speaking of bloodshed and children, I know Sporty had one, but since this one actually came up, you talking about your kids.
Yeah.
If you know that a child is in a situation with their parents and they're being negligent of some sort, I'm not saying that they pimping their kids out or whatever, but you know that they not really necessarily doing right by their kids, would you ever report them to family services? Is that not your business?
Ooh, ouch.
Hell the fuck yes.
Ouch.
Been there, done that, have several t-shirts of it. And a 4-year-old in the next room. Yes.
Well, I mean, that's an extreme situation, but I'm just saying, of course, in an extreme situation of abuse, sexual abuse or anything like that, where broken bones and all this other stuff. But let's just say they leaving the kid at home when they should.
You saying negligent, not the best parent, but not necessarily.
For instance, they going out with their friends and they leave the kid at home by themselves, and the kid is like 7 years old, or the kid they don't fix the kid nothing to eat. You know what I mean? So the kid got to figure out what to eat or not eat at all because let's say mama out partying and kicking it. Or maybe she on drugs. Or maybe, you know what I mean? There are a lot of other factors that are going. Would you ever report a family member or a friend or even somebody a stranger, or associate to family services?
Yes.
Rob?
I'm straddling the fence on this. I mean, because it really depends on how much in jeopardy I view the child is in. For example, if the child is 7, let's take Asia for example. I mean, I don't leave her here by herself, but if I did, she would be able to maintain. You know what I'm saying? It's just tough because you don't know people's circumstances, whether they can't afford babysitting, whatever. It's
party, Rob. You going to Vegas? You going to the casinos to gamble, but you left Asia at home by herself on a regular basis, not a one-time shot, but this is regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. I see that. I mean, I'm still struggling.
Let's say Asia takes the school bus home, and you consistently will not, because you don't want her to be in the house by herself, but you don't get off work till 2 hours after she get home from school, but she got to sit outside in the fucking Vegas heat and wait for you to get home.
Yeah, no, that ain't cool. Yeah, no, that's a problem. That's a problem. I view that as a problem. Yeah.
So
I would check the parent, and if something didn't happen, then I'd call. I mean, yeah, that's the problem. Okay. Because the kid's in jeopardy. Kid could get kidnapped. Kid could have all kinds of issues. That's different. You know what I'm saying? But just because of my exposure, I mean, I grew up latchkey, and I was born in the '60s, so it wasn't no rules where you had to be there with your kid. So a 7-year-old at home by themselves ain't necessarily neglect in my value system just because society has made it neglect now. You know what I'm saying?
But your mom was at work and at school. your mama wasn't out kicking it, partying.
Yeah, no, I get it. But for whatever reason, I guess being that child that had to make do, even though sometimes the boiled eggs blew up because I fell asleep or whatever, all that's a learning experience. But because I went through that scenario you gave me, I would struggle with ratting somebody out from there. But now the new scenario is different. Yeah, that's a problem.
I guess it was one of those things like, under what situation would you?
What circumstances? Yeah.
What circumstance would you rat them out?
Yeah. I mean, if the kid was definitely in jeopardy, health-wise, all kinds of other stuff, I mean, vulnerable, because anybody can snatch a little kid up, you know what I'm saying? Little 7-year-old girl, you know what I'm saying? That ain't safe to be sitting out and not being able to get in the crib, So, yeah, that's a problem.
And heat exhaustion. It's hot as fuck. You may as well leave the baby in the car. If that's the game, like in Vegas, it's hot as shit. Right. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's hot as hell.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Yes.
What difference would it have made if you were going out partying, leaving your 7-year-old at home, in comparison to you're at work, leaving your 7-year-old kid at home? Is it a value system? Is it a value system?
Technically, there is no difference. You're leaving a child at home. However, here's some little nuances that I'll put in there that make me kind of do like this. One is at nighttime, right? And then 2, it's not like a necessity. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to go out and party to put your child in jeopardy, right? You do need to earn a living, and you do need, you know what I mean? You do need to better yourself, and that, like I said, that's during the daytime. So I think
So if the mama worked at night, it would be different?
Yeah, it would be different.
She wouldn't get the same clause as before, as working through the daytime, and she still has to make a living?
I mean, here's the reason why I say that. Because sometimes at night it's easier to I don't know. Let me shut up. I ain't never had to find that.
That's why I continued to straddle the fence, and it wasn't what she was doing was not relevant. The fact that I felt like the kid could probably maintain at that age independently, especially since it was a regular thing, I was okay with it. It might not have been what I would choose to do, but I was okay with it.
But don't you think that also maybe the difference, I guess, in the scenario that which I'm speaking in terms of why you would reach out to the authorities is that, one, your mom trained you to be at home by yourself, what you should and should not do, how to call, what's the plan B, the safety hatch, all that stuff. And I'm saying a lot of these kids aren't prepared that way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you leaving your 7-year-old at home, let's say you left the 7-year-old at home and they sleep, and you thinking, oh, they sleep, they ain't gonna wake up. And Chan, you know what I'm talking about, right? If they sleep, they not gonna wake up, and you ain't gonna say nothing. You just walk out, and they wake up in the middle of the night, scared. They might wander out into the street looking for you. It's all of these things that I think that kind of go into my whole mindset when it comes to leaving a child home at night. Yeah, my mama trained me too. She was like, get your ass in this house, you stay in this house and don't touch shit. Your food's already in the refrigerator, just take it out, and that's it. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So, okay.
Right. Well, that's why I think before you rat that person out for that scenario, you need to check them. You need to say, hey, what's up?
I would check them. Now, if you left the kid outside, I'm gonna check you. But if
I might want to know after a minute.
I might ask you, is there an issue? Like, if you need childcare and I happen to be at home, okay, I can watch your kid till you get home for that 2 hours.
Yeah, same thing. Some kind of way, find out what the situation is, if the kid is prepared or not, or what the reason is, before you rat them out.
Well, personally, I think people should be certified or have licenses to raise kids. Shit, we got to get a damn license to drive a damn vehicle because it's dangerous. Hell, you raising all these people having all these damn babies. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. Shan tells me that you can't regulate somebody's body. And I'm like, well, listen, if I got to pay for them as a taxpayer, then I need to be able to have some say. If you're going to keep popping out 12 kids, then you ain't taking care of not one of them. So, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. For those of you guys who just may be joining us, this is Playing Devil's Advocate. I am your host, Miss KiKi, the consummate provocateur, and tonight we're talking about mind your business. There's an interactive chat room right there. I see some people in there interacting already. If you want to post our Facebook wall, you can do so at facebook.com/playing devil's advocate, or you can send us a tweet at PDA_Miss Kiki. That's PDA_MSKIKI. And we'll get your comments on air. Sporty.
Yes, girl, I'm trying to calm. Yes, girl, I'm trying to calm that one.
Well, relax, relate, release. Relax, relate, release.
All right. So let me go in a slightly different direction. So you overheard your child planning to cheat on a final exam for school so they can pass the class to graduate. What do you do, Dad?
Yeah, I gotta talk to him. Now, see, I mean, if I overhear it, then it's my business. You shouldn't be talking loud. But if I hear you, because I mean, I'm a parent. I hear things. So whenever they, like, I heard the crying, I go down and they fighting over a broken necklace because somebody broke somebody's necklace. Then that's my business now because they did it all publicly. So yeah. It ain't her business no more. She decided to talk about the cheating openly, so I heard it, and I get to ask questions about it.
What are you going to do?
You know, this is where I kind of get criticized, I guess, sometimes as my liberalness as a parent. But I need to know, I'm going to ask why you feel you need to cheat, you know? And I'm gonna go through the whole scenario, you know, and I'm gonna talk about it. And you know, at some point they're gonna make a decision anyway. I can't uncheat the desire to cheat. If they got the answers and whatever else, I can't, like, you know, untake it out of their head or wherever they got it. I mean, if they got it, they're gonna get it again. So I just have to have the discussion, you know what I'm saying, and try to point them in the right direction and say, hey, you know, ethically, you know, you're there to really learn. You know, the bottom line is you want to get the information and retain it so that it can help you and benefit you in life, not just pass through this test. But, I mean, if you got to pass this test because you got to graduate and you got the ability to do that and you're going to figure out how to retain the information later, then you might have to do that too. I'm a realist. So, I mean, I would have the discussion, but, you know, I would try to give an ethical push. But, of course, the child at that age is going to do whatever they're going to do.
So, do you have a conversation with the school?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
Hell no. I ain't going to the school, you know.
I got something to say about that. First of all, you my kid, you living in my house, you don't have no business. So it ain't an issue of me mind my business. You don't have no damn business. Your business is my business. That's the first thing. Let's get that clear. Okay, because if you're talking on my phone that I pay the bill on, it's my business. You sitting in my house where I pay the bills and it's my business. Right? So that's that. I do agree with you, Rob. Yeah, we're going to have a conversation as to why you feel like you need to cheat. Mm-hmm. What's really going on? Where have you been cheating this entire time to even get to the point where you at the final exam? You know what I'm saying? Will I tell the school? I might. It depends on what the fuck they say. If they say some fuck shit to me, if they say some fuck, I'm just basically saying, loosely translated, I'm just the lazy motherfucker and, you know, whatever, I can get away with it, whatever. Oh, yeah, I'm putting on high alert because that's something Miss Dorothy would have done. She would have ratted my ass out and be like, put her in a room by her goddamn self, check her pockets, leave her book bag outside the room, you give her the goddamn pencil, all that shit. She would have ratted me out. And then if I pass, okay, great. If I don't, bitch, you graduating through summer school. Because that's your lesson for cheating and not doing what you're supposed to be fucking doing in school. And if I've already paid your class fees, goddammit, you're going to have a job too, and you're going to pay me back my damn money. That's what Miss Dorothy would have done.
That's what Sporty would do as well. Depending on what your response is and how you talk to me about it, I will tell on you. And like Kiki knows, my motto is, unless it's for real that I have to go take it to the grave, I will sing like a canary on your ass if you act a fool. Yes, I will. Yeah.
I mean, if you come to me and you say to me, you know what, Ma, I really feel like I have test anxiety, and I know so much is riding on this, and you know what I mean. And I may not even use it. I just want to have that if I need it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Well, we gonna study anyway, because all this energy you spending on, you know what I'm saying, spending on figuring out how to cheat. How about we just try to figure out how to pass this motherfucker? You know what I mean? Get the information so you can take it properly. But there's some people like, what's the big deal? Oh, what's the big deal? Especially if I'm paying tuition too. It's gonna be a problem. I'm just saying, that's just me, and that's coming from somebody who don't have no kids. But I'm gonna tell you, that's what my mama would do to me. Yeah. So I don't feel sorry. They talking about they said we stool pigeons.
I don't care what you call me, Rocky. You call me what you want to. I'll be all of that. And if I catch your ass cheating on the test, I'm gonna tell on you too. Nah.
They talking about we need stitches because we
Y'all snitches.
Yeah.
Get stitches.
Here's the thing though. The reality of the situation is that yo cheating, it's gonna reflect on me as well. It's not just you. You know what I'm saying? So quit with the fuckery. You know what I mean? Go ahead and do what you have to do, and let's just move on with our lives. So I'm just saying. That's just me.
My hand up.
Uh-oh.
I don't care. Somebody want to hear what you got to say.
How does your child's cheating reflect on you?
Cuz I said so.
Okay.
That's what you're saying to the child, not to another.
No. It reflects on you because in some way it shows me. It reflects on me personally. I take it personally because it's like, okay, did I miss something? You know what I mean? Where I wasn't paying close enough attention to see that they were struggling. Was I not open enough in some way where they felt comfortable to come to me and say, you know what, Mom, I'm struggling. I need some help. You know what I mean? Was I too busy with my own shit? You know what I mean? So it's a lot of stuff. Again, like I said, I would take it personally in that way. Because I know you're capable of it because you're my kid.
Right.
So that's all. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. You got any more questions?
So you're not telling Chan?
Hell no, she ain't gonna tell shit.
That's true. She take to the grave.
Oh, hell no, I'm not going to tell on my kid. I'm not going to tell on them. Now, I will say to my child, if you get caught, then that's on you. If you get caught, it's on you. And not only that, you only cheating yourself because you're going to have to figure this out somewhere along the line. If you cheat now, you're going to have to keep cheating. So, you do it, you get caught, that's on you. You got to pay that penalty, not me.
Now, I do see a conversation about accountability and consequences should be in play. Whatever you decide to do with your child, you definitely, like Rob said, have the conversation, about what your responsibility is if you do such a thing.
Right.
But the step further is whether you are communicating with the educators or not about your child. So that's a whole nother ballgame.
Yeah, I ain't ratting them out, but I mean, and it's. See, I didn't go the other place with it because ain't none of my kids gonna come off crazy like that to me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't even have thought that. They would have told me just the way I approach them and deal with them. But I would deal with the whole education issue of it though. You gotta learn. You gotta compete out here. So at some point, even after that's all done, like they share this office with me, so I know when they do their homework and they ask me these questions because you gotta learn what you gotta learn so you can compete. Ultimately, that's the message that you got to get across. You go ahead, whether you cheat through this or not, you can't cheat your way through life. You got to compete with other people. And if they got the knowledge and you don't, then they can do some things and offer some things that you can't. And that's the real deal right there. So that's what you got to get across to them, Mm-hmm. But yeah, I ain't ratting them out though. I'll deal with that with them one-on-one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the only reason I brought that up is because, teenage girls get to smelling themselves. You know what I'm saying? When they get a certain age, they get to smelling themselves. And they may say or do some things that that is not something that has ever been acceptable behavior or they should never feel comfortable even doing, but they will. And the reason why I know that is because I was one of them teenage girls who was going to push it as far as I could. So I'm just saying, I was never disrespectful, but, these kids nowadays, you only with your kid, honestly, a few hours out of the day, and their influences are outside the home in a lot of instances. So you never know. But that is a contingency. If you get fly, oh, that's your ass.
Like boom, 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 boom.
All right, y'all. It is that time of the night for our producer's drink of the week. If you are thirsty, this is now the time for you to get your libations on. And yeah, man, this is a good one. This is a good one, y'all. I'm gonna let her tell you guys about it better than I can. She named it after our fallen soldier in the musical game. The name of the drink this week is Purple Rain. Purple Rain. No, I'm just kidding. Purple Rain, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey everybody, tonight's drink of the week is called Purple Rain. Tonight's drink of the week, we're going to use 1.5 ounce of white rum, 1/2 ounce of peach schnapps, 1/2 ounce of grenadine, 1/2 ounce of blue curacao, 1 ounce of lemonade, and 1/2 ounce of sweet and sour. What we're going to do with this is we're going to fill a shaker with ice, add all the ingredients except for the blue curacao, shake and strain into a chilled martini glass, then drizzle the blue curacao around the edge of the glass, and then garnish with a lemon twist. And there you have it, Purple Rain. All right, guys, be safe, enjoy, drink responsibly. I'll see you next week.
Where's my lighter? First of all, she incorporated 2 major things in one event in one drink. She did Purple Rain, and she put some lemonade in it. I'm just saying.
Yes, now. Oh, my.
I got that subliminally. I got it subliminally.
Only Chan, baby. Only Chan.
Yes, ma'am. All right, guys. Here's another one. Tonight's topic is mind your business. All right. Here's one. Your friend's teenage daughter tells you she's no longer a virgin, but please don't tell her parents. Do you mind your own business, or do you speak up? Sporty.
Well, what had happened was, I've always made the comment to the children as they got older that I'll keep your confidence as long as it doesn't hurt you or a family member. And then if it's something serious that should be discussed with your family member, I'll go with you to have that conversation if you feel like it's something you can't go to them with on your own. So with that being said, so-and-so started having sex with her boyfriend. She was 15. I said, you need to have a conversation with your mother. Do you have birth control? Have you been to whatever, the whole conversation about that. And she was afraid to talk to her mother. So I said, well, I'll give you, a week or so to go have a conversation with your mom. And then you need to go to the doctor to make sure you're okay and have all of the, things you need to be a sexually active teenager. And if you have not gone to her by such and such date, then I'm going to have a conversation with your mother, because that affects your health, and that's serious, and that breaches our contract. So that's how I handle that.
I'm telling.
Well, yeah. I give her 7 days.
I had it happen to me before. A friend's child came to me. I'm cool Auntie KiKi. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with it, but I'm letting you know, listen. If you're having difficulty opening up with your parents, then okay, I can be a buffer in between you, but I can't hold this secret. That's not something I can do. We're going to have a conversation about, one, if you feel like you can't tell if you're ashamed or you scared, that is your indicator right there. That was not something that you were ready to do emotionally. Because if you did it and you don't give a fuck and you all good and you're emotionally mature about it, you don't have to have any fear or any trepidation with anybody. So now we need to discuss why you felt the need to keep it a secret, or why you had this level of fear. And of course, you have the whole, protection conversation or whatever. But my thing is, I'm going to tell. Now, you can beat me to telling, or we can tell together, but it's getting told. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, no, I think you got to encourage the kid to tell. My inclination would be that to try to find out why they didn't feel comfortable talking to their parents and why they would feel comfortable talking to me, and try to encourage the kid to go and talk to their parents, because that is a discussion that they should have with their parents. And when you start going, I wouldn't even get into these other discussions, because that's kind of overstepping in my mind, because you don't know how that parent wants to present that scenario, how they want to indoctrinate their child into sexual intercourse and what their value systems and background. So I wouldn't even get into none of that. My whole thing was, I'd be a listener, and then I'd say, hey, look, you really need to talk to your parents, and let me tell you why. And I would give them all kinds of approaches if they needed me to go with them, but that would be my deal. They'd have to talk to their parents. And if they refuse to, then I guess I would have to bring the conversation up. I'd have to go over and bring the conversation up, because it is a serious conversation. Being the father of 5 daughters, if my kids couldn't, return that favor, bring that kid back and say, hey, you need to talk to your daughter, because this is what's up.
Now, do you because I've had conversations with the parents about their teenage children, especially the ones that know that their child confides in me. Do you let the parent know that the agreement you have between you and that child is to let them, know that you will communicate with the parent if need be about important situations?
Oh yeah, you definitely want to let the kid know that you will speak up.
No, the parent. I'm saying the parent, because some people I've known people to keep the confidence of the child, but they don't let the parents know that there is a level of communication between you and that kid, and the parent has no clue, and then all of a sudden they spring something on it. Like, me and the parent know what's going on.
I hear you.
You can't.
That's not acceptable. You can't keep the confidence of the kid.
It's
not that. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that, because you ain't the kid's friend. Your child is the kid's friend. You are a parent who the other parent is entrusting with their kid, since that kid is in your house maybe just as much as they're in their own house. They spend that kind of time with your kids, so they're assuming that there's some similarities in discipline and upbringing and shit, so their kid is safe. So once you start to violate that parental unspoken agreement, then that's a problem. And
you also have to put yourself in the other person's shoes too. If it were your child going to someone, first of all, I'm grateful as a parent that my child would go to somebody that I trust enough to call a friend, or if they're my sister or whomever. I'm grateful for that. So with that being the case, I also want to keep in mind that if it were my child, I would want someone to tell me. I don't want to be in the dark, and not because I don't feel like I'm a good parent, but I want to know these things. You need to know what's going on with your children, and you also need to know why your child doesn't feel comfortable coming and speaking to you. You might be judgmental and not even realize that you're judgmental. You might, they might be afraid of you, and you've been such of a disciplinarian that there's been no role for empathy or anything in your relationship, that they don't feel comfortable in that way opening up to you. So, I mean, again, it helps in terms of what kind of parent you are and what kind of parent you want to continue to be, because now it opens that conversation up for you to talk to your child and say, listen, I don't give a heck what's going on. You can come to me about anything. I don't want you to feel like I'm going to judge you. I don't want you to feel afraid of me. I don't want you to feel like I'm going to think less of you, any of that. Because at the end of the day, none of that shit's important. Your safety, your health, all of that, your physical and emotional health is what's important.
See, and I used to get criticized by, you know, people about how I talk to my sons. You know, now of course they're both adults now or whatever. You know, but I had this thing about keep your dipper in the zipper, don't give out your last name or social security number, and they know, you know, that in my room, the second drawer, that's the protection drawer. So you run out of something, you go in there and get it if you just absolutely need to have it. You know, and they, you know, I call it oversharing, but they come and tell me everything, even stuff I absolutely do not care to, want to know, or hear about. Talk to your daddy about that stuff. But the door is always open to where they can have the conversation with me about whatever it is, you know, that they need to, and not feel like, you know, well, I can't tell my mom this, or I can't say this to her. You know, so I do think that those doors should be open. And if you have somebody you can confide in, you know, that's a friend or a family member of mine, then absolutely, by all means, I would rather you have someone that's responsible in my life to talk to than no one or someone in the streets who's going to guide you wrong.
But you ain't, if you can't afford to get your own damn condoms, you can't afford to fuck, because that means you can't afford no kids. So,
well, yeah, that's a whole other story. But you know,
I'm
I still
just
always
saying, am I gonna withhold it? Am I gonna withhold it because it's like, oh, you can't afford it, you can't get it? They gonna, you know, no.
Right.
But the point is, that's something that you instill in them early on. Listen, if you can't afford to take care of no kids and you can't afford to pay for no condoms, that you need to do what you call it, risk what is we call it, a risk analysis.
Yes.
You need to do some of that. You know, you need to analyze the risk on this and see what, you know, what is the best scenario. Right. So, Rocky said in the chat room that he flat out would not tell. It's really about how he feel about someone confiding in him, and he have no confidence in another parent responsibly dealing with the situation. So he wouldn't tell. He doesn't believe that another person would be able to handle it responsibly. Well, you know, here's the thing. If it were your kid and your sister or your brother or me or Chan or somebody like that, then you may need to, at the end of the day, you might want to reevaluate those alliances. If you don't trust that they have your kid's best interest at heart, you shouldn't be letting your goddamn kids go over there. You should, you know what I mean? You know, that's a whole other story altogether.
Yeah.
Rob,
yeah.
Give me another scenario.
I got a scenario. I want to go back to where we were when you talked about sometimes these kids get beside themselves. They get to be teenagers. They start smelling themselves, whatever. And, you know, all right, here's a scenario. You see somebody, they out with their kid in the grocery store, and they got their kid hemmed up. They got them shaking them by the arm saying, hey, I told you when you listen, and blah, 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 and they hemming the kid up. You get into business or what? What do you do?
It depends on the him. Now, if they shaking them and they getting this thing going on, then I'm going to be like, hey. But typically, no. If you getting in your child's ass in public, I don't say a word. And the reason why I don't say a word is because my mama got in my shit in public and it got me right. And it never happened again from that moment on. And I remember it to this day. I remember what I had on. I remember what store we went to. I remember what time of day it was. I remember everything about that instant. So if you need to get your child right, because I see way too many kids running around here acting like damn clowns.
Yeah.
And their parents act like they don't see shit. But if the parent thinks enough of their kid to say, look here, little fucker.
Right.
Yeah. Listen here, you got to be out here acting a daggone fool, because here's the thing. I'm going to raise you. I'm not about to let the system raise you, the foster care system raise you, or the judicial system raise you. So you need to get it right. So I know I don't get it. Now if they like Molly whopping the kid.
Yeah, that's different. That's why I said they just got him hemmed up. Yeah, no, it ain't no punching and nothing going on.
Yeah.
They got him hemmed up.
No, I wouldn't say a shit. I'd just be probably walking past being the old bitty talking, that's right, get him. I'd be doing the same shit that them old bitches was doing when my mama got me.
Same here. I would walk by with my shopping cart going, yay, parent, thumbs up to you. Because, you know, get them where they get it. You know, get them where they act a fool at.
Yeah, it's nothing like, you know, immediate response to the negative shit that you get. You know what I'm saying? I had to do that. I had to do it this weekend. That's one of the reasons I brought it up. We were in L.A. at Universal Studios. Then we go to the Cheesecake Factory, and these fools want to act the fool while we sitting there. And I'm like, that ain't about to happen, So I had to kind of check them right there in the seat, and people looking. But I got no problem embarrassing you right here in front of, because you embarrassing me by the way you acting. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so, yeah, I was just curious how y'all felt. Now, I got one more, though. Let's spin it. Let's take it away from the kid. Now, you see the same situation happening with a dude and his woman. Now, I mean, this might be more towards a guy than a woman. I want to see how, the gender opinion would be. But he's hemming her up. He's talking, yelling at her all up in public. How do you feel about that scenario?
Is he physically beating her, or is he yelling at her?
Well, I mean, when it gets to be an adult, you don't know. I mean, it's very similar to the hem up that the kid had. He might have his hand on her arm. He might be grabbing her. You know what I'm saying? He ain't punching her or nothing yet. But, obviously that argument or that exchange is different than the exchange with a kid. So it could easily lead to that, you would assume. You know what I mean?
It would depend. And the reason why it would depend on how aggressive this was going on and where we were, you know what I mean? And how long it's been going on. You know what I mean? Like, it depends. Like, if he was just like, look, you know what? I'm not finna get into this with you right now, whatever, right? Like that, you know what I mean? Okay, I might not say anything. I might give him a little side eye like, all right, partner, but if it's actually aggressive and I feel in fear for her, I'm not going to get in it in the sense like I'm going to jump in, because clearly this mofo don't have no hesitation in putting his hands on a woman. So I will make whatever necessary phone calls,
Yeah, you get in the business.
I will do that. I will do that. Yeah, absolutely. And I know a lot of men who won't intervene because when the shit hit the fan, they then sometimes turn on the man who's trying to intervene on their behalf. So I know, a lot of times men kind of step away and they kind of wait it out to kind of see how far it's going to go before they step up. I don't know. But I assess the situation, assess the danger, and then the threat level, and then I'll take action.
And I'll agree with that as well. I'll more than likely call someone, because 90% of the time when you get in the mix of domestic bullshit, they're going to wind up with that person anyway, and essentially they're going to have to be the one that stops the negative behavior, be it the male or the female, so I would place a phone call, for fear of safety if I felt like he or she were, in danger of losing their life or something like that. But I would not physically get in the middle of it. I would, unless he was like whooping her with a chair or some shit like that, then I might pick up something and hit him across the head, and then go about my business and still make the phone call. But other than that, I would just call a bouncer or security, wherever the situation is I am. But I wouldn't.
Okay, to play devil's advocate a little bit. What if it's the other way around? Because we know women, y'all can get out of hand sometimes. And y'all think because you're a woman, you can put your hands on a dude and he's not going to hit you back. So if you in public and you see the reverse happening, what do? Do you say anything to her? And, because, she probably thinking she bad. Because if she's going to buck up at him, she ain't going to hesitate to buck up at you. Are you going to, is that a fight you want? Or are you going to do the same thing you would do if it were the other way around, call the police or security? What would you do?
Same thing. The same measures I would do to protect her are the same measures I would do to protect him, because I am a firm believer in, if you woman enough to hit a man, then you woman enough to get hit back by that man. Don't put your hands on him. You're asking for that fight. I'm not a believer in just because you're a woman, you can put your hands on the man and he's not supposed to hit you. If he needs to defend himself, protect his life, then whoop her ass. Hold her down enough to where she get it together, shake her or push her really hard. But yeah, if she put her hands on you, then you have a right to defend yourself.
Okay. What about you, Rob?
Well, it that one's tricky. Now the first one I'm probably gonna step in. You know, I didn't even answer my first question, but I'm gonna step in. You know, I mean, I guess as a guy, you don't feel the need to call nobody. You get in the middle right then and say, hey, you know, you need to step back a little bit. I don't know if that's a protective thing because I got girls or what, but I would definitely step in. Now the reverse is different though. I don't know how I would respond to that. You know, it would probably be it probably depend on how the guy was responding. If he was passive and just dealing with it, you know what I'm saying, one of those super cool people that I wish I could be, you know, where they just take it and do, you know what I'm saying? Then I might not do nothing because, you know, 9 times out of 10 it ain't gonna be, you know, he can handle it, whatever it is. If he feels he can handle it, then I'll let him handle it. But if he was more like I am, you know, I couldn't take it, you know. So if I saw him boiling, I'd probably jump in and pull him aside, not really addressing her, and say, man, you probably just need to step away before this escalates, because I mean, you know, at some point, you know, all rationale goes out of the window, and you just start to respond instinctively as an animal, you know.
Yeah.
Some of us, some of us do.
Okay. Rocky said he has one, so I'm gonna wait for him to post his in the chat. Yeah, I definitely. Yeah, I feel like, you know, I'm with you, Sporty. Ladies, you put your hands on a man.
You asking for it.
You asking for it. 'Cause it's like, listen, you can't have it both ways. You can't be the damsel in distress and, oh, I'm the weaker sex, but you want to buck up like a man. You buck up like a man, you get fucked up like a man. Just
I mean, I feel like if you are in a situation, you know, where you can't deal with that person and you got to get to physical violence, then you don't need to be with that person or around that person at all. It should never have to come to the point where you got to throw blows at each other. You're not going to never catch me deciding, no matter what he do, that I'm finna slap him or push him or hit him. He'll fuck me up. For real. I'm not going there.
Okay, Rocky posted his in the chat room. He said, what would you do if you saw a man being verbally abusive to a woman who was serving him over the counter? I would serve him verbally. I would say something. I absolutely would say something. I would also ask for management as well. You know what I mean? Because I know she can't say what she want to say to him.
Right.
But, you know, so somebody has to intervene on his behalf. Here's the thing. If he's behaving this way to a total stranger or someone who's serving him, there's no telling what he would do if he knew you. You know what I mean? Or if you weren't on the other side of the counter.
Right.
And he didn't get his way. So, again, security, get this mofo out of here.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm going to do the same.
He doesn't deserve this abuse. No.
Yeah, I know me and my mouth. I'd be like, "Fuck you mean? You know who you talking to for one?"
Well, I wouldn't address him. When I say something, well, you know, even though I joke and said I would be verbally abusive to him, I would actually say something to her. You know what I mean? Like, you know what? Why don't you go get your manager? You know, can you go get the manager for me? You know, something like that. Like, this is unacceptable. I might say something because I have a problem with keeping my mouth shut in a lot of situations, but I don't think it's ever acceptable for anybody to be abusive verbally to someone who's serving them.
Yeah, no, I would say something to him personally. I would probably go over and sit next to him and say, hey, you know, what's up, man? You know what I'm saying? You know, I try to find out, hey, what's the deal with this? Because, I mean, this lady ain't did nothing to you, you know? And I don't know. Again, that may be, I don't know what it is in my nature, but I know I could just visualize that scenario, and I would take on that attitude myself. He don't need to be yelling and screaming at nobody or disrespecting this woman at her workplace. It just ain't cool. Now maybe he had a bad day. Maybe something went wrong. Maybe he needs somebody to talk to. So maybe that'll help when I say what's up, you know. And then maybe he'll end up apologizing. But I've dealt with people like that too, you know, out on the convention floor. You know, they come fly in. They got all these other problems, and they start taking it out on folks, you know, at the service desk or somewhere else. I'm like, wait a minute, I'll go to the booth and I'll check them. Hey, you know, I heard that, you know, you had this problem. Can I help you solve this? All right, so now I need you to go apologize to this girl. because that ain't right. You know what I mean? Folks should be respectful to people, especially at their workplace. She's just there working. She's trying
But
to help.
he's a bully.
Yeah.
He's a bully. And you know, there are a lot of people who are bullies, and they do stuff like that. And again, people know who they can do that kind of stuff with. You know what I mean? They'll try it, but as soon as somebody speaks up, more than likely they'll pipe down, because they, especially if it's another man, they'll pipe down. You know, because it's like, oh, you know what I mean? Because it's showing a lack of respect, one, for a woman, and two, lack of self-control. So I think, you know, I think that it's important that, you know, we look out for each other in terms of our safety. Now, if you're just being messy, okay, you might want to stay, you know, but that's one of the times when we talked about it. Is there ever a time that it's appropriate to stick your nose in somebody else's business? That I absolutely believe is one of those moments where it's appropriate. Rob, I know you had number 4. Can you tell, you know, what that one was? Do you remember what that one was?
I don't. What was number 4? You need me to...
Yeah, about the medical condition.
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, I don't remember exactly what I wrote, though. You can't read it for me while I got to pull it up on my email?
But, your issues, not mine. You said you found out that your friend had a medical condition.
Okay, yeah. All right, so you find out your friend got a medical condition. That's right. No matter what it is. It could be cancer. It could be something like that. It could be AIDS. It could be anything. Do you tell? Do you share that information?
With whom?
With...
How did I find out?
No, let's say they told you. Let's say you were talking to them and they told you.
I guess it would depend on what they have.
All right, let's say they got cancer.
Do they have children?
Yeah, they got children.
Young children or grown children? See, those are things that, I mean, it's conditional, right?
Right.
I may not be the one to go and tell, but I would definitely encourage them to share, to disclose. Now, one of the reasons that I probably just won't run out and be like, you know, your mama got blah, blah, blah. One, I ain't violating no federal HIPAA laws. Secondly, that person is dealing with enough. The person is dealing with a whole bunch already. So I'm not going to compound that, because obviously they're sharing with me because they need to decompress. They need to process. So 9 times out of 10, I'm not just going to jump out there. But my solution would be to encourage them to disclose to those that they care about.
Okay, so I got cancer. You tell me that I should, you should really tell your family. You should tell your folks. It's me. Let's say it's me. I got cancer, and you know my folks. You know my kids. You know people, and I say, I'm not feeling it. I'm not going to tell them, because I'm not going to have no chemo. I'm not going to do this shit. If I'm supposed to die, I'm just going to die. That's how I want to handle it. All my shit's in order. All my insurance is in order. What I'm going to do is I'm going to live this last time out so they can remember me the way I want them to remember me. We just going to kick it. I'm going to do what I have to do. I'm going to enjoy this time, and I don't want them to know.
I would be mad at you. I'm going to be mad at you. And the reason why I'm going to be mad at you is because I'm like, why did you dump it on me?
I had to tell somebody. Because I had to tell somebody.
Why dump it on me and say, shh, don't tell nobody? You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
I might have dumped it on you, because at some point I need somebody when I pass out to know.
I'm definitely going to support whatever your decision is. But I would be so torn, especially the closer it got to the end. I don't know if I would be able to keep it the closer it got to the end. You know what I mean? Because I do know your kids. You know what I mean? I do know your people. So for me, I kind of feel like I'm betraying them by not giving them. But I understand where you're coming from in terms of you want them to remember you in this way. So again, closer to the end, I might have to say, you know what, you about to die anyway. What you gonna do? Haunt me? I'm telling you.
Sporty, what you gonna do?
Well, I will tell you what I'm currently doing, and that is keeping their family members' confidence. And I'm keeping their confidence because it's their wishes. It's their final wishes. And even though it's hurtful to do so, and situations come up where if this information were known, it would make a difference about a lot of things that are going on within our family. But I also respect their point of view about their life, and they're trusting me to the point where I have to, I just have to suck it up. It's not about me for once. It's not about Angel. So I have to um, maintain this secret. I have to be responsible with how to handle it once they're gone. And I also have to know that I've honored what this person's request is, because at the end of the day, the people that need to know are still going to be here, and I'll have information to give to them at the appropriate time. But right now, my job is to keep it.
Yeah. I think you got to mind your own business. You can't, even at the end, KiKi. So I already know that if I get cancer, I got to go to Chan, not you, because at the end you're gonna rat me out. But
and here's the thing, I'm gonna rat you out because I know how your people feel about death.
Well, that's the thing. That is the whole point. If you know, no matter what, things change. If you say you have cancer, people treat you differently.
Yes.
People look at you differently. Even if no matter what it is, it could be cancer, it could be AIDS, but the life is going to be different. The way people view you is going to be different. So if the person has decided that they want to conclude without the pressure of you telling me I need chemo so I can prolong my life, or I need this, or you trying to pamper me or whatever, treat me different.
Fine, Robert, I won't tell.
Thank you. Because it ain't nobody's business. The key is how the person chooses to live it out. And I just know from my perspective.
And I can't stand now you or that other one over here that's behind the camera that can't nobody see, because this bitch talking about she just gonna disappear and ain't nobody gonna know shit. Yeah. She ain't gonna say shit to nobody. She's gonna come up missing and then be like, then we gonna have to, So I'm just like, look. Then she tried to tell us we can't even have no damn party for her. I told her, fuck her. You can't tell us what not to party about. But anyway, that's a whole other scenario altogether. Okay, fine. I won't say nothing.
Thank you. Mind your business.
It is my business. You made it my business when you told me. All right.
Okay. No. Okay. Now let's bring that up. Is that the case?
I was just getting ready to segue into that. I was just getting ready to segue. Oftentimes people do feel that when you disclose things to them, now you've brought them in. So they feel like they have rights and privileges now that you've disclosed certain things to them. Right. The reality is they don't. Right. It's still your information. You know what I'm saying? So you're just the holder of that information. So I get it.
And the fact
that roll my eyes.
Yeah, and the fact that they confided in you and you feel that way, they misjudged you. But the bottom line is they confided in you because they felt like they could talk to you in confidence.
Well, people know that I'm a vault. So honestly, typically, I don't know if I'll forget that, but most things, if you tell me some shit, and I will not, you can know that it's never coming back.
Nothing.
My memory sucks to high heaven. But in terms of a life-threatening illness or whatever, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like I said, I'll support you in your decisions either way. But because you've already made your thoughts and your feelings known that you don't want nobody to say nothing, I won't say it.
Yeah,
I will respect it. Okay, speaking of friends and people close to you, let's just say, for example, you got two friends that are in a relationship together, and one of them comes to you and tell you all of their relationship business. They air all the dirty laundry. Bitch, he had 1 minute, man. She don't never wash her ass but 3 times a week, whatever, right? And they want you to kind of like get your input. What do you do? Right,
That,
right.
that ain't my business. That ain't my. I'm not in that. I'm not in that. First of all, I don't want to hear that. Now I can't.
I mean,
I'm
it could
not
be
gonna.
anything. It don't have to be something that extreme. It could be
No,
anything.
no, that's fine. But I really don't want to hear y'all business. So when you come to me, and you start talking to me about your relationship with another friend that I'm just as close to, let's say we all grew up together, then I'm like, if you telling me about y'all's trip to LA and shit, that's cool. But if you talking about something on the other end that's subjective, then I really don't want to get in that. I might be a sounding board for a second, and I'll say, yeah, Key, that's unfortunate, you know what I'm saying? But I really don't want to be in that. I'm gonna tell you straight up, I don't want to be in the middle of that. You know what I mean? Now, if I have to listen and be a sounding board, I'm good. But I'm not giving no advice. I'm not moving forward with this. It's like I'm just here for you to bounce that off of, and I prefer for you not to keep bouncing if that's possible.
Yeah, I shut that shit down. Now if you dating somebody, now if you with somebody and I know them because you're dating them, and they come to me talking about you, oh, I'm listening to it all, and I'm being petty. Yes, I got my petticoat on. I'm going back and I'm gonna tell my people, because here's the thing: my loyalty ain't to you. My loyalty is to my friend. So you're not gonna come to me and say all these things that you should be saying to them,
Right.
and then expect me not to say nothing. Nope, not going to do it. But yeah, two friends of mine, leave me out of this shit.
Yeah.
La la la, I don't hear you. What about you, Sporty?
I don't want no parts of that. I can't do it. You can vent. I've had a situation where both of them have come to me and vented about one or the other, but neither of them ever knew it. And I've never offered any advice. All I did was listen and say, okay, glad you get that out your system. And they moved on from that. But I don't get in the middle of nothing. They can't say, well, you told so and so and you told, I ain't getting in that shit. I ain't playing it. But I agree with Kiki 100%. If Shamika is Rob's new girlfriend, and Shamika go, well, Rob did such. I'm like, he did for real? Rob, Shamika said this, and this. I'm coming to tell you everything she had to say, so you clear about what's going on in your nest.
Yeah.
Everything. I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah.
For sure.
Other than that, I ain't in it.
If you meet somebody's people that you dating, and you got the audacity to complain about them to their people, then you're supposed to get ratted out. I mean, I don't know that.
Real comfortable, Rob. You'll be surprised. Some old folks get real comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know that I would probably shut that down too and not want to know, and maybe even tell the person, hey, I don't even know if that's going nowhere. I don't know how detailed I get. I don't like to be in nobody's relationship business either way. But you setting yourself up though. If you think that you can go to somebody else's friend, it was their friend before you met them through
Right.
relationship, and start to gain some confidence by talking bad or something, that ain't gonna happen. Yeah, that's if any of y'all out there listening got that state of mind, y'all need to change that. That shit don't even work.
Quickly.
You're gonna get ratted out. I can tell you 10 times out of 10, you're gonna get ratted out.
And I'm looking at you side eye. I'm not looking at my friend side eye for telling me something. I'm looking at you like, bitch, you ain't my friend.
Right.
You gotta know I'm gonna tell it. And I'll give you a different kind of example of this. I get a phone call in the middle of the night. Hello? No, silence. Hang up. A couple minutes later. Hello? Silence. Hang up. Hey, I'm not finna play these fucking games, so either speak up. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I just wasn't expecting you to answer. Why, bitch, this my phone? Right? Like, why the fuck wouldn't you expect it? You called me. Oh, well, I was just going through my man's phone, and I was just trying to figure out. I say, well, bitch, you done called a lot of people. There's a lot of people between A and K. right? You've been busy, right? And then I'm like, well, who's your man? And she says his name, and I'm like, this is KiKi. You know what I mean? Like, and so I'm like, you gotta know that I'm going to tell him as soon as we hang up this mofo phone that you going through his shit and you calling people on his phone. You gotta know that. Yeah, you and I cool, but them my people. He
Right.
need to know who he laying down next to, that you can't be trusted. That you snooping and you going and you calling and you going, you know what I mean? It's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
If I told you what you wanted to know, if I was someone else, and clearly you calling to get some answers for something. If I told you everything that you thought you wanted to know, yeah, I'm fucking them, blah, blah, what you gonna do? Pack your kids up in the middle of the night and leave? No. Fuck are you calling me for? So I did. As soon as I got off the phone, I was like, I'm calling literally as I'm hanging up, because I want to get through first on the other phone, calling like, you need to know X, Y, and Z. I'm telling. I'm telling. My loyalty does not lie with you. No. Not gonna do it.
Hello. I wouldn't
Not
do
gonna
it
do it.
either.
I got
So,
another one that came in.
okay.
Here's one. It says that okay. They said someone you know, so I'm assuming it's an associate of yours, borrows money from a mutual friend of y'all, and they promise to pay it back by a certain day. Now, you know the person who borrowed it has the money now, even though they haven't paid it back. Now, the loaner, the person who loaned it, is complaining to you about how they feel. Do you say something?
No. No. That ain't your business. I mean, they made that agreement. He loaned the money, he got money, but he decides to pay it or not. That's on them. I mean, he might just decide he gin them. I ain't finna pay you nothing, and that might be how he rolling. That ain't my business. That's your job to get your money back. You can complain to me and you can try to find out what I know, but I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing about that man's pocketbook. You need to talk to him about his funds, not me. That ain't my business. Because some folks out there is ruthless. They get, some folks borrow money from you when they got a pocket full of money. So it's some ruthless motherfuckers out there. You give it to them, that's on you. Yeah, that ain't my business.
40, same thing? No. 40?
I drank my tea. I ain't saying shit.
Okay. All right, fine.
Yeah, ain't my business.
All right, anybody else got some more?
Yes, girl. So, let's say for instance, okay, so check this out. Now, you notice your spouse is bringing home extra money and y'all business partner. So, I got a business partner. And so, he explains to me what this big windfall is and how we got this extra money coming in and all of that. There's another person that's in, business with us for a certain deal, and they got some, extra money, but they're going through a divorce. The wife comes to me and says, do you know if y'all got some extra money or something somewhere? I'm trying to secure all our finances and make sure shit is, on the up and up or whatever, and so on and so forth. Now, I ain't tell her nothing. This is a true scenario. I didn't tell her nothing because it's not my place to tell you what's going on between you and your spouse and y'all business deal and y'all financial matters. All I care about is what the finances are on this end. I have nothing to do with that. I don't betray nothing that goes on in this household or this company over here. So whatever y'all did with y'all business, but what would y'all do about that? Would you tell her, oh, they got some more money, or we did get a big settlement on this, or this happened, and you gonna talk about it?
Why would I do that? She not a party of the business. First of all, bitch, serve me with a subpoena for our financial record. You know what I'm saying? That's personal shit. You trying to bring your personal shit into my business. That's not going to happen. So if he's not telling you what you want to know, or you think he up to some slick shady shit, then you need to take the appropriate actions that you need to take. And that wouldn't be calling me. Because again, that's my business partner. So my allegiance is to him. Also, I'm protecting my business as well. What the fuck I look like talking about financial issues with somebody who don't have a vested interest in my company that might use that information against me that will not harm me financially? Fuck you. Get out of here.
Right. Yeah, ditto. All the way to the get out of here.
It's like, sometimes, I just have to say it. Sometimes women try to take this female solidarity shit just a little too goddamn far. You know what I mean? They really think that, oh, we sisters in the struggle. No, bitch, that ain't my struggle. And you're not finna bring me in on that. You know what I mean? Like,
well, she tried to tell me, well, we've broke bread together. We've all had dinner together. We've done this. I don't understand why you couldn't share this information with me. Are you crazy? I'm not going to tell you.
You should tell her, let your attorney explain it to you. Let your attorney explain it to you. Because I ain't explaining shit. The fact that your comprehension level is not up to par don't have nothing to do with me. You're not finna bring me in on that. I'm just saying. I don't understand why you won't tell me. The same reason he won't? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it ain't your fucking business, bitch.
And I never got in their stuff. I don't know nothing about their personal stuff, why they getting divorced. I don't know none of that.
I don't understand why you coming to me. I don't understand. You don't understand why I won't tell you. I don't understand why you coming to me.
I don't even got no information. I don't even know what you're talking about. Like you said, if I don't have a subpoena, then I don't know nothing. I don't even know. I don't know. Ask your husband. He might know more about that than I do.
You need to talk to him about that because I can't,
He probably has more details than I do. Mm-hmm. I don't know nothing. I'm just the wife like you.
I don't do that. I do marketing and whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I ain't even offer all that information. I'm
just saying, the reality of the situation is, why would I tell you anything? And why do you feel so comfortable coming to me? And the reason why you feel comfortable coming to me because I'm a woman and you're a woman, that somehow there's going to be some type of alliance that we're building together. No, it doesn't work that way. You're not going to guilt me into giving you any information. You're not going to try to, for the sisterhood, try to give me some. I don't give a goddamn. No, sorry. This ain't have nothing to do with that. This don't have nothing to do with it. And that just drives me insane when they try to do that. I heard somebody saying, this is kind of off the subject before we get into the letters. I heard somebody talking about cheating and stuff, and they were like, whatever happened to the sisterhood? Why would you go and get with somebody else's man? I don't know you, bitch. Right? Yeah, I don't have no allegiance to you. He got the agreement with you. I don't understand why I got to be, hey, the sisterhood. Big fuck you. Look, don't come to me with this. That really drives me insane. I'm sorry. That's just my two-cent. I'm sorry.
You see my two-cent, right?
I see you pull your book up. Yeah, I don't understand why people do that. That just drives me batty. It's not for the sisterhood. That's not for the sisterhood.
No.
Rob, you got one?
No, I think we covered all mine.
Well,
go ahead, Sporty. You got another one?
Yeah, this is a quick, funny one. Here you go. You catch your mama cheating on your daddy. What you gonna do?
Wow.
Wow. I catch my mother cheating on my daddy. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna mind my business. I'm gonna say something to my mother. Am I running back to tell my daddy? No. But I'm ultimately gonna kind of take a back seat on that because it's not something I need to get into the middle of. I don't know my mama and daddy's relationship. How I'm gonna jump in and tell them what's supposed to be what? Now, the conversation I'm going to have with my mom is like, what's going on here? And why you being so goddamn reckless? that I can catch you up in this shit. Because if I caught you, how do you think he ain't gonna catch you? Was this intentional? Did you want to get caught? What's really going on? Why didn't you read my book? Shit like that. But I don't think I would get mixed up in that drama. No, absolutely not.
And what if it were vice versa?
I wouldn't get mixed up in it. The only way I would get mixed up in it is if you bring me in it. For example, if you want me, daddy or mama, to lie for you so you could cheat. Now all bets are off. I'm liable to. I'm the live wire. I'm the. You don't know what they call it. I'm the wild card. You don't know how I'm gonna respond one day. So don't put me in it. Don't come, because there are situations, and that was one of the things that came in, and they were like, what would you do if your daddy was trying to use you as an alibi? No. Damn sure not as an adult. I ain't finna lie for you. Nope.
Rob?
Yeah, no, you gotta stay out of that one. I mean, I agree with Kiki though. I would definitely talk to the parent that I caught, you know what I'm saying, and find out what the deal was. And I mean, it's got to be a backstory, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I need to know what's what, you know? I mean, yeah, you got to stay out of that. You got to stay out of that. And I mean, if it's where we are now, then my question is, you know, why y'all even still together if you feel that's necessary?
Right.
If, you know, you want to take it back to, I'm still maybe in grade school, you know what I'm saying, when it happens, you know, probably the questions won't be as intellectual, but you still want to know what the deal is, and, you know, you probably going to hear some shit like, you know, family and staying together and blah, 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 and all. So you buy that, but you don't, because now you fucking up the family too, if that's the intent. You know, you don't, yeah, you got to stay out of that, you know. You got to stay out of that.
You have to stay out of it. Like I said, if I need to find my daddy messing around on my mama, I'm gonna have a problem. You know, but I'm gonna have a conversation with him, not the conversation with her.
Right.
What was yeah, I don't know if I've caught I ain't gonna get in it. I'm just gonna say to whomever gets caught, I'm gonna have a conversation with them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You're doing too much, you know. You need to, you know, something like that. But my mama and daddy's relationship ain't my business. Sporty, you gonna tell it, aren't you?
No, my daddy can't do no wrong. So if I found it out, it's a lie. Something happened.
Would you rat out your mama?
Marlene, she wouldn't get caught. She never did.
You just ratted her out right now, you bum.
I'm kidding. I'm so kidding. Girl, and my daddy is gone. But no.
No. She never did. No. You going straight to hell. You just ratted Mama Marlene out.
On scholarship, you better know it. No, I would not tell.
Let me ask this though. You see somebody at work stealing. Do you say something to them or to anybody else, or do you just mind your own damn business?
I mind my business until it affects my job.
Yeah.
Rob?
Yeah, you mind your own business. I mean, that's them. They got to deal with the repercussions of their actions, you know. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you got to mind your business. I had a scenario come up with me, man, not long ago, and folks decide that they want to rat you out. You know, that ain't the best way to do things. You know what I'm saying? You got folks that got families and other shit. I mean, like, yeah, if your actions you know, result in you losing your job and not being able to pay your bills, that's one thing. But, you know, somebody else instigating that for you is something totally different. So, yeah, no, you yeah, you don't rat nobody out. Just let it happen. If that's what if they take that risk, it's on them.
It's their responsibility to handle that. They get their
Yeah.
own consequences. Now, if the boss come to me saying, you the one stealing and blah, blah, and it's about to affect my job, I'm going to be like, look, massa, the field niggas is in the barn trying to read books. Leave my house nigga ass alone right here. It was not me. I'm going to tell on you to save my ass for my job. But other than that, I ain't got nothing to do with you.
Yeah, and
my
see,
thing has always been I don't volunteer information, but if you ask me, I'm not going to lie.
right, and see, and I got no problem with that. If something happens and somebody inquires and you want to tell what you know, then yeah, by all means. But you shouldn't be the tip line. You shouldn't be calling up saying, hey, you need to check the tapes because so and so walked out with a fucking ream of paper, and you don't know what that ream of paper was for. You know what I mean?
I'm not doing that.
A ream of paper?
I'm just saying.
You gonna rat somebody out over a ream of paper, Rob?
I'm just saying.
A box of red
I ain't
pens,
ratting you
goddamn
out
it.
at all. That was just my
You are wrong. We are being joined by our Facebook mentions audience, our Facebook Live audience. Go ahead, guys. Post your comments in there so we can give you guys credit for that conversation. If you're just now joining us here on YouTube, this is Playing Devil's Advocate. I am your host, Miss KiKi, the consummate provocateur, and today we talk about mind your business, and we're talking about if there's any scenarios in which it's okay to get in somebody else's business, and we've also discussed some scenarios where we're just like, you know what? Nope, just mind your business. Mind what she say on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Mind your business. Mind your business. That's all. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, you can always post here in our interactive chat room on YouTube. For those of you on Facebook Live, you can post your comments there. You can send us a tweet at PDA_Miss KiKi, or you can post our Facebook wall at facebook.com/playingdevilsadvocate. We have a lot of activity going on all the little social media streams all over the place, and I'll be getting some of that commentary in there. But it is time for our Ask PDA letter.
Woohoo! What we got?
I love this time. We actually had two, but I'm only going to do one. I'm going to close my eyes, and I'm going to pick one. Okay? And so before I can do any of that, I need to make sure that I play the disclaimer so that you guys know that this is for entertainment purposes only.
At some point, you will be offended by something said on our show, but Playing Devil's Advocate is meant to be a forum for open, honest, and more importantly, judgment-free dialogue. The opinions expressed here may not necessarily be those of our hosts or the show in general, but we're willing to have the uncomfortable conversation so that we can heal and find solutions for our listeners and quite possibly ourselves. Enjoy the rest of the show.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
All right, today's Ask PDA letter is being brought to you by our producer's Drink of the Week. If you haven't had an opportunity to check out Cousin Chan's Purple Rain, now is your time to do so. You can go to facebook.com/playingdevilsadvocate, click the link, try the drink, and let Cousin Chan know what you think. We want to see video, we want to hear commentary, all of that stuff right there. You can get the recipe. And here is today's Ask PDA letter. I married a great guy a short while ago, and he moved into my home after we got married. It's the second marriage for the both of us. He's good to my kids, my parents, and even gets along with my ex-husband. There's only one major problem I'm having trouble dealing with. He goes through all my shit, from my mail to my closet. I've caught him going through my glove compartment, the trunk of my car, and anything else he can get his hands on. He says he has a right to do it because we're married, but I don't look at it that way. His first marriage didn't go well, and it wasn't because his ex cheated on him, so I don't know where this is coming from. PDA fam, I'm squeaky clean. I've never given him any reason not to trust me. I just believe he's nosy. Meanwhile, his nosiness is violating me. I've tried talking to him about it, but he just doesn't get it. Please help me before I end my new marriage. Signed, married to Short Guy, the Private Eye. Oh, my God, she called him short. She calls her dude short. All right. I'm going to start with the man because I want to hear a man's perspective on why it's his right because they're married.
Was that my wife that wrote that? No. No. I don't know why he thinks this is right. I think whatever baggage he's carrying, he's definitely insecure. I think that Short Guy Private Eye has issues, you know, and you need to really take that into consideration. I mean, it's unfortunate that you're already married, but it is fortunate that you're finding out early that this is not something that you find out later in life when you got kids and other stuff involved. But yeah, he's got some real confidence issues. He's got some issues he's got to deal with. It ain't got nothing to do with you. I don't know what he's looking for. He does not have that right. I do believe that people are people. When you get married, you become. There is a us, but there's still you, and there's still him, and that separateness. There's still some privacy that each person, each individual, should maintain or deserves as an individual. So. My wife don't go through my shit, and I don't go through hers. I mean, that's just unacceptable. And yeah, you gotta be a realist, baby. It ain't gonna change if it's to that extreme. So he need help. You need to get him some help, or you need to get rid of him.
Sporty.
Bottom line is this.
In the echo. Go ahead, Sporty.
They're getting it. My bottom line is this. You have to let him know that he is violating your personal space and your personal things. My bottom line is to give him a poem. Write it down for him. Roses are red, violets are blue. Mind your motherfucking business before I leave you. Seriously. Because that's just too much.
Okay. Here's my situation, my thing on this. Clearly, this man is insecure. And I'm getting an echo, so if everybody could mute themselves, please. Clearly, this man is insecure. And that may have been the reason why his relationship ended in the first place with his first wife. Okay? So, what you said to me is that I married a great guy a short while ago, and he moved into my home after we got married. My home. This man clearly has not found his space in your life. So he's looking for clues to find out the space that he occupies in your life. Okay? That's the first thing that I want you to be mindful of. Second thing is, does he have a right to go through your shit? No. A right? No. Can he? Absolutely. And the same for you as well. Being married to him or him being married to you doesn't give him the right to violate you in any way. And it's violation when you say, I don't like it. Don't do it again. This makes me uncomfortable. It's a violation at that point, right? So just like he don't have a right to have sex with you without your consent, he don't have a right to go through your shit without his consent. Will I ever tell you to leave your husband? That's not my job to do. But you need to decide if this is a deal breaker for you. If it's a deal breaker for you, you already know what decision you need to make. Rob says you need to get him some help. I don't know what kind of help you're going to get him for being a snoop. However, we do know that there is something that is happening that is causing him to feel the need to snoop. Okay? So you might want to address that because the issue is not the snooping. The snooping is the manifestation of the real issue. Okay? So focus, try to have a conversation about why he does it as opposed to that he does it. All right? That's my 2 cents on your letter. All right, you can go ahead and unmute yourselves, fella and lady. I'm a bid adieu to everybody here on Facebook. If they want to join us over here for the rest of the show on YouTube, by all means, feel free to do so. We're out of here. All right. So that's my 2 cents. Go ahead, Rob.
No. I was just.
You saying bye to the people on Facebook?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Yeah, what you said too.
What?
He said what you said, and that makes sense though. He does need to find his own place in that place that now is their home. Um, but you gotta just tell them stop it. Just stop it. That's just. I mean,
And
there's nothing else
she
you can
making
do.
she making it all about him being a snoop, and she's so
Yeah,
quick clean. But there's clearly something that's making him feel like he has to look for something.
and that's the root. That's the help I'm talking about. That's the root. We got to find that root of that problem, and either fix it or realize that it can't be fixed. One or the other.
What have you said or done or allowed to happen that makes him feel like he's not getting all the information that he needs? Because you can't. Because here's the thing that I find out. Was this motherfucker snooping in your shit before y'all got married, or this something new?
Mm-hmm.
But you have to assume that it's new since he moved there, or else it wouldn't have been the great guy that's transformed into Shorty the Snoop. So I would think that it's got something to do with either something he saw, heard, or ran across while he was there that gave him the feeling that there's more to something,
He did.
than there really is. Now he's digging to find out whatever else that could be. I don't know if it's, I don't know, an old phone number or old picture or whatever he might have seen that just happened.
Just be cuckoo, because they will show one face on one end, and now that he got you the ring on your finger, he done flipped the script on you. We do it too in a different way. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's the situation, which is why his first marriage didn't work. Maybe he was the perfect guy, and then all of a sudden, once she got married to him, he turned into a damn lunatic. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's a fear of loss issue, a fear of abandonment issue that he's dealing with that has him looking for stuff so that he can preempt it or know that it's coming. We don't know. But again, it's not the snooping that's the problem. It's why he's snooping. That's the problem. We got to change our perspective on how we see things, people, because we focus on the wrong shit. Because you're going to constantly be irritated about him snooping, because he's going to continue to snoop. But y'all haven't figured out why he's going to snoop.
Right.
So that's my 2 cents on that. In terms of tonight's topic, minding your business, I thought you married people say that y'all don't keep secrets from one another. Y'all, what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine. So it's his glove compartment. It's his trunk. It's y'all mail.
Don't open my mail.
Who said that? Who says that? I mean, that's what they say. Whoever they yeah.
I don't know who they are. It's kind of like nobody. It's like nobody when you ask your kid who did it. Nobody. Who said it. Nobody. Or the motherfucker who steal the socks. They all hang out together. Nobody.
Yeah.
But don't open my mail. That's where I draw the line.
Actually, that's against the law. It's a federal law.
And I'll turn you in for that. Don't open my.
I did that to my ex.
Good.
Don't go to my shit.
Don't
do that.
Don't open my fucking mail.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things. That's why people keep their individuality as well. I mean, you can't throw away my memorabilia, my shit that I'm holding on to. I mean, no matter what you think about it, it has some personal connection to me. Don't just start going through spring cleaning in my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, don't open my mail. Don't go through my desk. I mean, there's certain things that are community things. You know what I'm saying? You want to go in the closet, or you want to pick out my dirty clothes and go wash them and fold some shit and go through some drawers. There's some public areas, but there are also some private areas. And I respect that same private area with her, So that's what people need to realize. There are you become partners, like your business partner, but your business partner, there's some things that, the lines of responsibility are clear, who's doing what. So whatever you need to do that is your realm, and whatever they need to do their part is their realm. That's how a marriage should work if it's going to work right too.
Here's 2 things that you just touched on. One, you talked about the fact that the business partner, and that oftentimes in relationships, your business relationships are better cultivated and nurtured, and people respect those relationships and those boundaries a lot more than they do in their interpersonal and intimate relationships. And the other thing is, I'm so glad we're having this conversation because it kind of lends to the next conversation that we're going to have about the relationship building blocks, because these are things that you need to know when you dating somebody. Where are your boundaries? For real, for real. If we're going to live together, don't use my fucking toothbrush. I don't give a care that I suck your pee-pee parts and I swallow. That still don't give you the right to use my damn toothbrush. I don't like it, right? We need to have that constant, uncomfortable conversation. I'm just saying.
Right. Upset my whole constitution.
Don't open my mail. Don't, you know what I mean? It's stuff like that. Don't go through things. If it has a password on it, it has a password on it for a reason. It's either to keep things in or to keep your punk ass out. Now, if it's a password unlocked. If it's got a password unlocked, that means you ain't got no business in it. If you don't have a password or the key. So with that being said, don't take it personal. It's mine. Some things I can keep to myself. I have to. We have to keep our individual identities and create an identity together. But I ain't going to get too far down that rabbit hole because then while we had a show, right? But people don't have these conversations, Rob. You know that.
Yeah, no, they don't. And they are important. But, yeah, they don't. And that'll be a good show because we'll all learn something from that, Because, I mean, I'm learning all my stuff in retrospect that I wish I'd have learned before, Yeah,
if I knew then what I know now.
Correct.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's real interesting. So let me get the final thoughts in here for tonight's show, and then I wanted to kind of throw something out there for you guys and see what y'all think about it. I don't normally do this on air, but I'm gonna do it just for shits and giggles. But tonight's show was Mind Your Business. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, if whatever you're watching, seeing, experiencing is not causing harm, physical, to someone, please, by all means, mind your damn business. If you see that somebody is in jeopardy physically or emotionally, then you don't have to insert yourself physically into that situation. Consult the necessary authorities and let them do what they do. You don't want to put yourself in harm's way because you're trying to play Captain Save-A-Ho. You know what I mean? That's not necessary. The end of the day, everybody should go home safely. That's what we want to do. So, if you and the reality of the situation is if you're focusing so much on everybody else's business, how are you focused on yours?
Amen.
You can't be. It's not possible. Like I say all the time, don't watch your own front porch. Watch your own front yard. But as long as you watching my grass grow, you missing all the weeds popping up in your shit.
But if you water your own grass, it'll be just as green, if not more.
I'm just saying.
His own business has a better business. That's what my daddy used to tell me.
All right, so there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, y'all, I've been posting stuff about seduction lately because y'all see I've been adding my ones to the keys to seduction because I got the key to life, key to love, key to relationships, and now I got the key to seduction. I'm thinking about holding
this one.
That's the key to seduction. I'm thinking about doing seminars on that because we don't understand how powerful we are as human beings. Not just women, but men as well, in terms of harnessing and using that sexual energy, that art of seduction to our advantage. What y'all think about it? Would y'all go?
Seduce me, girl. What we gonna do?
Shut up. I ain't trying to seduce you. Rob, would you go to something like that?
Yeah, I'd probably go and check out just so I have the what do I want to call it? I could put up the shield that I need to not be taken advantage of. You know what I'm saying? Because
you can see the signs. You can see the signs coming and be like, danger.
Because I mean, sometimes it's difficult to keep your focus on what you really in town for. and then you get this seductress coming, so you gotta be able to put the shield on. That's what I wanted to say, that invisible force field, that shield. I need to know. So yeah, I would check it out.
Okay, well, I'm gonna put it together, and because I think a lot of women have lost the power of femininity. They forgot how to be seductive. They forgot, and a lot of men too forgot how to seduce women. Y'all, it's a lot of steps that go into it, and I think that yeah, I think I want to teach people that again, all over again. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of our producer, Cousin Chan, our incredible invisible intern number 3, Rob Carter the Fourth, Sporty Spunky Angel, and myself, the consummate provocateur, Miss Kiki, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you guys next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Remember, we're always uncensored, unscripted, unapologetic. And if there's anything else they need to know about us, what do they need to do? Sporty?
Google us, bitches.
That's right, Google us, bitches. I'm out. Good night, everybody.
Peace out.